Welcome to our magical museum tour. Today, we are exploring a place that looks small on a map, but holds some of the biggest surprises in American history, the state of Connecticut. Known as the Constitution State, Connecticut is tucked right into the northeastern corner of the country. It is the third smallest state in the Union, occupying a tiny footprint compared to giants like Texas or California. If you look closely at its borders, you'll notice a special feature. Down on the southern edge, right along the ocean coast, a little rectangular handle sticks out, connecting the state to the area around New York. Despite its size, this state is packed with massive historical firsts and amazing geographic wonders. Long before the first maps of the United States were drawn, native nations like the Mohegan and Pequot peoples lived on this land. They have called this region home for over 10,000 years, and their communities remain an active, vibrant part of the state today. These early communities were master farmers. They developed a brilliant agricultural system known as the Three Sisters, growing corn, beans, and squash together in the same soil, so the plants could naturally help each other thrive. When European settlers arrived later, they brought new ideas about how a community should be run. In 1639, they wrote down the Fundamental Orders. Historians recognize this document as the first written constitution in the Western world. By writing down the rules for a representative government, the people in this small region created the blueprint for the entire United States government. If you look at a postcard of Connecticut, you will see quiet, peaceful forests. But hundreds of millions of years ago, this land was violent and fiery. The state hides ancient volcanoes, evidenced by massive, towering cliffs made entirely of cooled lava. The extreme weather continued during the last ice age. A wall of frozen ice, miles thick, bulldozed straight through the state, scraping the ground and carving out the deep valleys and lakes seen today. The shimmering water of Long Island Sound hides another secret. It is actually an ancient river valley that was swallowed by the ocean as the planet warmed and glaciers melted. Because of that deep coastal water, the region has a long connection with the biggest creatures on the planet. The state's official animal is the sperm whale, a marine mammal that can grow up to 60 feet long and dive thousands of feet down. The peaceful forests and bays we see today were sculpted by fire, massive walls of ice, and rising oceans over millions of years. It isn't just the land that is active. The people here have always loved to invent. In the late 1700s, Eli Whitney brought his ideas to New Haven. He revolutionized how phones are built by making every part of a machine exactly the same, so repairs became as simple as swapping out a single piece. Around the same time, a woman named Mary Keyes achieved something remarkable. She invented a new way to weave straw hats using silk thread. In 1809, she became the very first woman in the country to earn a U.S. patent, giving her official legal credit for her invention. That spirit of helping others continues today. Recently, a local teenager named Samantha Merwin started a group called Elbow Bump Kid. Her organization supports and encourages young children who have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. From historical inventors to modern teenagers, Connecticut's people share a tradition of using their creativity to solve problems and support their neighbors. Let's take a quick sprint through the incredible buildings this history has left behind. Right in the center of the state is Hartford, the capital city, crowned by the shining gold dome of the state capitol building. Just down the coast is New Haven. This city is a massive educational hub, where the town built the very first public library in America for everyone to use. Further along the shore is Mystic, an old coastal village. It was once a center for building massive wooden ships, and you can still see preserved 19th century whaling vessels docked at the seaport today. And if you drive into the quiet, rural corners of the state, you will find a totally different kind of building. These historic wooden-covered bridges have been stretching across rivers for over a century. Traveling through Connecticut's towns is like walking through a living timeline of American architecture. A state with this much history has some great official symbols. The state flower is the mountain laurel, a shrub that blooms with pink and white flowers. The state tree is the mighty charter oak, a white oak living for hundreds of years. And if you listen closely in the spring, you might hear the state bird. It is the American robin, known for its bright orange chest and its cheerful singing voice. These symbols reflect the vibrant wildlife that thrives in the state's forests and backyards. The state's legacy of innovation extends deep under the sea. During the Revolutionary War in 1775, an inventor here created the Turtle, the world's very first combat submarine, powered entirely by a hand-cranked propeller. Decades later, engineers in the coastal town of Groton took that idea even further. In 1954, they launched the USS Nautilus, the world's first nuclear-powered submarine, which could stay underwater longer than anyone ever thought possible. The state also reached for the skies. In 1939, inventor Igor Sikorsky successfully designed and flew the first single-rotor helicopter, proving that an aircraft could lift straight up into the air. Connecticut's factories and inventors built vehicles that changed how the entire world travels and defends itself. History doesn't always have to be serious. Connecticut has some pretty bizarre and funny facts, too. For example, an old state law dictates that for a pickle to legally be a pickle, it must successfully bounce when dropped. The Frisbee was also born here. College students at Yale University realized that after eating treats from a local bakery, they could sail the empty metal pie tins through the air to each other, inventing a brand new sport. Even your sweet tooth owes a debt to the state. In 1908, George Smith invented the first machine to make hard candy on a stick. He named the invention after his favorite fast racehorse, Lollipop. Even everyday fun things, like our favorite toys and candies, have surprising historical roots hidden right here. The best part about this history is that you can experience it yourself. If you visit in the autumn, you can take part in a delicious regional tradition by visiting an orchard for a warm apple cider donut. You can step outside and explore the state's forests, collecting wild leaves to press into a scrapbook, just like early plant scientists did. Or you could challenge your brain, just like a Connecticut girl named Deepika Ravichandran did. She holds a world record for assembling a complex 250-piece jigsaw puzzle in under 14 minutes, without even looking at a picture guide. The history and culture of Connecticut live on through the traditions you make, eat, and play with every single day. Speaking of playing, Connecticut loves its sports. In the summer, families gather in Hartford to cheer on the Yard Goats, a minor league baseball team famous for its high-energy games. In the winter, the whole state unites for basketball. There is immense state pride for the Yukon Huskies, where fans pack the arena to watch their teams compete for national championships. Now it is your turn to get moving. Wherever you are, stand up, run fast in place like the Husky mascot, and jump as high into the sky as you can. Thank you for joining our magical museum tour. Connecticut's history and community spirit are meant to be actively celebrated and experienced. Keep exploring.